Hi, my name is Brinan Weeks. You can use my likeness and this beautiful face for all of your footage. Background about me, I'm a Los Angeles-based comedian. I'm 33. I've been doing comedy for longer than I'd like to admit, and I'm originally from Albany, New York, where I got started working at the Comedy Works and doing a bunch of shit for a while, and then I moved to Los Angeles in 2015. And I started coming here regularly. Wednesdays was my first day here, and over time, there's a host here. His name is Jeff Husbands. He, took me under his wing and gave me the confidence I needed to keep going. And I started doing a lot of shows. And then one January, it was raining, and I didn't feel like leaving my house. And it's like one of those things like every artist has to go through, where they're like, should I get up and do what I want to do? And I did. And I came here and I was the only person who showed up. And then the guy who runs this place, his name is Adam Barnhart. He's like, you still want to do your set? And I was like, yeah, of course. And he's like, would you want to host here? And I was like, yeah, I would love to host. It was my first real gig. And then I started to make a commitment to doing stand-up every day for a year. Last year, and I was able to start pulling off my own shows. I have a show over here at First Draft Tap Room that I've been running a monthly. I've had I have a series called Unsolicited, which is a show about dick pics. That one's done at junior high up in Hollywood. I run multicultural shows with the emphasis on inclusion. A lot of the times I have culturally themed shows. Could make jokes or to stick to a point. I'm trying to make a point with each show, basically, and it's been a pretty wild ride. And I've been hosting the Clownhouse every Friday now for about a year, since 2019. And thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So you do this weekly.
Weekly, every Friday.
And then, are you hitting any other odd mics now that, since COVID hit? Have you seen any kind of fun outdoor ones or any crazier ones?
Yeah. There's the drive-up comedy one that was over in Burbank for a bit. I know those guys there were doing a good job. There's the beach mic. Victor Martinez is running it. He also had garage mic for a little bit. It was behind a Food for Less over in Venice, or on Venice and Western. I know Vicky's studio is going up, the former Bert's Back Room. I knew there was some controversy with that. And I think that's the ones, and I know somebody said there was a living room circuit. People have been doing shows in their living rooms. And I have had mics in my backyard before. And I've had 10 or 12 people show up and we just do our thing.
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the difference for you between streaming online shows and live performances?
Streaming, I don't think everybody should knock streaming shows, because there seems to be the same kind of effort almost, but there's just the disconnect of the that kind of what's the guy's name, Pavlovian response to the satisfaction of saying a joke, right, to the void. And luckily, I've had years of training at Marty's, which used to be a very hailed spot up in Hollywood, where nobody gave a shit about what you were saying. So Zoom shows are the same. It makes me feel right at home on Zoom. But I've done shows. I did a show for an alumni show for my former undergrad, Siena College, and I was the only young person there. Everybody else was in their 60s. And it was just really interesting to see how my material would land, because I do a lot of race-based and obscene material. And it was a hit, so it was fine. So I think and storytelling is also really good on Zoom mics. If you have stories, one-liners and stories hit. If you're just trying to do bits, sometimes they fall flat.
How would you describe comedy during just everything that's going on between COVID and all the police stuff and just everything? How would you describe the difference between comedy pre-COVID and current?
I think comedy now is found mostly on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok primarily, and it makes you try to flex your different skills. I mean, editing, you have to become this all-inclusive package right now to be seen, because the whole point of comedy, I guess now, is to be seen. And mics and stand-up and the stage are almost secondary because we find out now that you don't need them. So the craft is now being morphed. It's being changed. And I'm a traditionalist, and I prefer the stage. I love being on stage. But I'm just seeing now that, you know, it's for the addicts, basically. If you're really addicted to stand-up comedy, or you're just somewhat mentally unbalanced and you don't give a shit about your personal safety, people still want to do shows. People still have a desperate need to perform because some people don't have those outlets in their lives, you know, and especially comedians, we're all kind of troubled and we feel like we need to say what we want to say. And I've been having secret shows just for that reason. Low body count, you want to put it that way. And I'm providing a space for people to really get shit off their chest or to feel, you know, heard. And so I think it's kind of a service now. It's like a therapy session.